Select the image icon. Drag it to the place you want it to be located and click Style. Selecting the opacity property shows a slider that allows us to establish how opaque the color will be seen from 0% transparent to 100% solid texture. By selecting background color, you can fill the container body with a solid color. Choose from the options. Primary color displays a color scale that gets more intense as its scale increases. Secondary color displays a color scale that gets more intense as its scale increases. You can also modify the opacity. Black scale displays a color scale that gets more intense as its scale increases. You can also modify its opacity. Transparent. Selecting this option makes the body of the selected element not have a solid body color. This will make the color of the element directly behind it stand out before that item. Custom color. By clicking on this icon, you will be able to access the custom color palette. In the custom color palette, a range of colors opens in which you can select the one you prefer to contrast with the primary and secondary colors. By clicking on the color bar, you can select the color directly from the color scale screen. By adjusting the main color bar, you can choose the color of your preference. You also have the option of being able to enter the color code if you already have a color standard. The formats you can choose are RGB, HSL, and hex. By clicking on the image source option, allows you to search for the image of your choice. You can set the background image of each element. The image is displayed in the area that the content and fill of the element occupy, right up to its edge. The upload a file property allows you to upload the images that are on your device. When you upload them, they are saved to the Firebase database, returning a destination address from where we can query the image at any time. Click on Choose a File to open the File Explorer, where we can make the choice of the image of our liking. When you click on My Images, the entire collection of images that we have uploaded up to the time of the query is displayed. You can search by image name in case the number of images is too large, so you can reuse the images you have handled before. Clicking Unsplash takes you to a section of preloaded images from the Unsplash page. You can use them freely for your applications as they are copyright-free. When you click See Preview, you can preview the image where it shows you more details such as the dimensions of the image, copy the URL, and finally, select the image by clicking Select File. Clicking on Lottie shows the animations that we have previously uploaded to our dashboard, and there we just have to select which one we want to show. By clicking on the From URL property, you can paste the URL of the image if you have it from your own repository or an image on the internet. It is suggested that the image be your own to avoid any problem with the use of the image. To return to the options, click on the X. When you click Resize Mode, a list is displayed that allows you to resize the image with respect to the size of the container. When you choose the Cover option, the image adapts to the full height and width of the container. When you choose the Contain option, the image adapts to the content. When you choose the Stretch option, the image is stretched inside the container. When you choose the Repeat option, the image is repeated within the container. When you choose the Center option, the image is placed in the center of the container. By clicking the Dimensions property, you can customize the numeric width indicator of the component. The percentage element, %, is directly related to the numeric height indicator of the component. When selected, the % glows blue and the height of the element will expand to a value proportional to the value of the numeric height indicator of the component and the height of the device. If not selected, the % is grayed out, and the height of the element will be in pixels equal to the value of the numeric indicator for the height of the component. The percentage element, %, is directly related to the numeric indicator of the component width. When selected, the % glows blue and the width of the element will expand to a value proportional to the value of the numeric indicator of the component width and the width of the device. If not selected, the % is grayed out and the width of the element will be in pixels equal to the value of the numeric indicator for the width of the component. Selecting inner margin marks the distance from the edge of the element to the center of the element. The components inside the element will be moved so that the space of the inner margin can be left. The outer margin property marks the distance from the edge of the element to the outside of it. Components that are next to this element, either other components or the parent component, will be moved so that they can leave the outer margin space. When you select border width, you can assign the value of the component's width and border type. All edges with a blue call sign indicate that they will always have the same border value. If you want to assign different values, you just have to click on the call sign that you want to assign a different value to the others. Thus their values will be independent of the other values. When you select border radius, you can round the corners of the component. All edges with a blue call sign indicate that they will always have the same border value. If you want to assign different values, you just have to click on the call sign that you want to assign a different value to the others. Thus their values will be independent of the other values. By clicking border color, you will be able to change the color of the border, showing 5 options for color mapping. This border color applies to all borders without exception. When you click border style, 3 types of borders are displayed: consecutive line, dotted line, and segmented line, that is assigned to the edge of the component. This border style applies to all edges without exception. Select the data icon. By clicking Control Name, you can customize the name of the container. By clicking Control Label, you can add the hard text that is visible inside the button. Enable Dynamic Loading gives us the advantage of giving the appearance of loaded while assigning the final value to the element. When the switch is activated, when it is disabled, that appearance is lost, leaving the component in question in its original form. By activating the Control as Hidden switch, the selected control hides but does not remove it from the interface, meaning that the control still exists on the components that make up the interface but is not visible. Click on the Events icon. Click the plus to add multiple events. The on-press event is triggered when you press the control. Thanks for watching.